This person says, I find that top that says, quote, juicy to describe her perfectly well. Someone said she is well developed for her age. She's 13. This one said, my mouth is thirsting from seeing all that milk. I mean water. So the fact that they leave those comments up, continue to make more content to cater to those types of viewers is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. Okay, guys, welcome back to my channel Behind the Screen, or welcome if you are new here. So today we are going to be talking about the Saccone-Jolys again, and for good reason. A lot is going on there. So recently they sold their home in the UK and moved their entire family to Spain. And people have a lot of questions about why they made such a huge move. Like, it just seems very random.
I just moved my family of 6 plus 3 dogs from the UK to Spain, and you have a lot of questions. So let's get ready and talk about it.
And after about a month or so of settling into Spain, they finally gave their reason as to why they moved, and it doesn't really make sense given the current direction of their content. So we're going to talk about that plus a few other things with the family. Because when it comes to YouTubers, it's always very questionable when they just all of a sudden pack up all of their lives, all pack up their kids and they go move to a new state, or in this case, a new country. It's always a little bit suspicious with YouTubers. Especially when in this case the channel is not what it used to be. It's not making the kind of money that it used to be, because with Jonathan and Anna, they've proven to build a career online off the backs of their children and have shown time and time again that they're willing to do just about anything to stay relevant. So we're going to talk about all that and more. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into the biggest piece of information since we last talked. I think the last video I did was from March. And with that being said, if you have no idea who I'm talking about, I've covered them 2 or 3 times in the channel, so I'm going to link the videos in the description box. I would definitely check those out first before this video. It's quite, the Saccone-Jolys are quite the rabbit hole, honestly. But yeah, since we last spoke, they moved from the UK to Spain. Yes, they literally moved to a new country right before the school year ended, meaning that their kids started a brand new school for basically 2 weeks before summer break, or at least so they said. Why they would move at the very end of the school year when there's only like 2 weeks of school, it makes no sense to me. It seems very unfair and cruel to the kids, especially when Jonathan and Anna, they don't have the kind of job where, like, oh, Jonathan or Anna, one of them got a job where they have to go, there's no choice. They're YouTubers. They can come and go when they please. They could have waited that last 2 weeks. It just seems really unfair to the kids. But yeah, there was a lot of discussion as to, why did they move? Why did they just all of a sudden up and move country? Again, they didn't move from like one town to the next or 1 hour south. They moved to a whole new country. When it was first discovered that their house was even for sale, I think a lot of people thought maybe they were downsizing, or maybe they had financial issues, maybe they wanted a bigger house, a smaller house, whatever. And quite frankly, if they were downsizing, if it was because of financial reasons, that would make a lot of sense. I mean, you can look at their analytics. We don't need access to their, analytics that they have to see that their income is not what it used to be. The views are not what it used to be. They don't even post on their Saccone-Joly channel anymore, and Jonathan's channel, while it does get okay views, is nothing like what the original family channel was bringing in during its height, not to mention all the brand deals and everything that, came along with that. They're basically just not getting that anymore. So there was the financial theory, and then there was also the theory that maybe they were moving country because they wanted to continue their second child's gender care. That's something that had actually recently been banned in the UK, but it's still available. It's still an option in Spain. And if you remember, they definitely started that journey on the Saccone-Joly channel, documenting taking E2 to a gender clinic. So in a lot of ways, that actually made a lot of sense that they would move countries to continue that. If you look at their new house tour in Spain, it's very clearly a rental. None of their old furniture's there. It's all furniture. The house came furnished because it's a rental. And so the thought behind that is they haven't even bought a home yet in Spain to solidify the fact that they're staying there permanently. So it's kind of reasonable to think, okay, maybe they're going there for the summer. Maybe they're going there for a year to get the gender care, and then they're going to head back to the UK. Maybe they're just staying there on a holiday and they're having a house built in the UK. Or they're waiting for the perfect opportunity to come up. But they weren't exactly giving any indications that that was the plan. This is all speculation. And in fact, a lot of the discussion around E2's gender care almost seems tabled. It hasn't been a major storyline on the channel for a little bit. Not to say that it won't be again, especially if they continue going forward with the care in Spain, because let's be honest, they 100% will put that on the channel. But over the past month or two, when I was seeing the theories roll in, I was seeing that they moved, my gut was telling me that none of that was the actual reason they were moving. Maybe some contributing factors, but I didn't feel like it was the actual reason. And that's why I didn't make a video right away because I was kind of just waiting to see what unfolded. There's actually still a part of me that thinks that, like I said, they're just staying there on holiday, they're going to head back, they're having a house built, something like that. And as far as, all the school content, all of the housing, oh, we're in a new place, we're going to a new school, this and that. I kind of feel like I wouldn't be surprised if it's all fake just for content. But they just posted a video explaining the quote, real reason they moved. So I'm going to show you that clip real quick. It's very telling if it is the truth. And I feel like I need to say that because I do think that Jonathan and Anna will do and say anything for the sake of a storyline for their business. So it's kind of hard to take anything that they say too seriously, but I'm going to show you the clip from that video and then we can talk about it after.
Well, actually, speaking of rookie mistakes, guys, you remember a few weeks ago Anna put up a video talking about, what did you call that video? It was like
why I stopped sharing my life online.
And she was a bit cagey. The reason she was a bit cagey was because there was a court case going on at the time, and we're not talking like a civil, like this is a legal court case. Well, about a week ago, we actually were told, because initially we were going to have to go to court to testify against this person.
In June,
but thankfully, this person had changed their plea to guilty with the police.
Which is when I made that video.
Because we knew that was it. Because we thought we were going to have to go to court. It was going to be, oh my goodness.
It was so stressful.
But they've changed their plea to guilty, which meant that they did a closed court case. And then last week, that was it. It was done. They have they have a restraining order against us. They've got all of their trouble. I'm not going to name names or anything, but that was it. We had this stalker person for like 6-7 years.
Yeah, it was
so bad.
It was so bad, and it affected the kids' schools.
Oh,
it affected any clubs that they joined, anything to do with.
Because even though at the end of it, everyone apologized and everyone was like, "Oh my God, we didn't realize this was happening." But at the time when it was happening, it was causing so much trouble, and that led to us just not wanting to do vlogs anymore, not wanting to share anything.
I went through a stage of just like not wanting to share anything.
Like I quit Instagram, I quit TikTok, I quit Twitter, I quit Facebook, I quit Snapchat. The only place I was YouTube, because it was the only place where I knew I knew I was safe there. And then the videos I make, if you guys watch my YouTube channel, it's like, it's so abstract, it's so fictional, it's just like so careful, it's scripted and careful, and it's not for adults, guys. It's it's for young kids. Like, it's a fun kind of like entertainment. So don't ever watch my videos thinking it's going to be Saccone-Jolys. But what led a lot of that decisions was like, we felt really unsafe, and the police were coming to our house regularly every time there was a new problem and a case was being built. And he originally got arrested the first time, and then he broke the rules, and then they took all of his devices again, then he got arrested again, then they put him in jail, and it just, nothing would work. And it was so stressful, but that's what that video was about. And now, finally, even though we left the country because we were like, I feel like that's the only thing we can do to get away from this, It
was a lot more intense than I think.
Yeah, we're being a bit happy about it now because it's over.
Well, now it's over, but yeah, I think it was one of the most stressful things. Well, I don't know.
I just thought we should you know what I mean? We can't, obviously you understand it, like we can't give you all the juicy details, which I'm sure you would love. But, it did affect other content creators as well, this person. People say it all the time, well, you ever bring back Saccone-Jolys? Guys, I am 46 years old. I am not daily vlogging, okay? I do 2 videos a week, and that to me is like...
Same, I do 2 a week too.
Hey!
So, a stalker, and you would probably think at that point, you would not be vlogging or sharing anything about your kids anymore, right? Like, that would be enough to call it quits, because if things got so bad for you and your family, for your kids, that the only way that you felt like you could keep everybody safe was to up and leave your country and go to a new country, then you would leave the internet, right? That's the only logical thing to do at that point. And I think something to keep in mind before we get any further into this is something that they said in it. They said it really affected their kids. And if you remember, I cover this in my very first video about them, that this was also during the time that their eldest child is putting out cryptic messages on TikTok about her dad, responding to comments about her dad. And yes, this was all confirmed to be from E1. I know there was some debate, but it has been confirmed. So I'm going to assume that she wasn't probably very happy to up and leave her home, her country, her friends, her school, all because her parents posted too much about her online. And again, I feel like based on her TikToks, based on the fact that her whole entire life has been online, I think it's a pretty safe assumption. But yeah, with all of that, you would think that with Anna and Jonathan, they would think, okay, it's time to put the kids first. We'll get a fresh start in a new country. The vlogging days will be behind us. We'll have our kids live a private, quiet, happy, normal life. But no, we're talking about Jonathan Joly and Anna Saccone here. It's impossible. And so, okay, you think, all right, they're not going to get offline, but they're going to put safeguards in place, right? They're going to make it really hard for stalkers to know too much about their lives. Like, if they can't stop YouTube, they're going to put the safety measures up. But again, we're talking about Jonathan and Anna. So, no, that's not the case either. Because get this, they did a full home tour of their new place, which because of that, people were able to do a quick Google search and find out where the home is. And that's how people also determined that it's a rental. Anna also shared where each of the kids' bedrooms are and that their eldest daughter, who is 13, mind you, sleeps in the pool house alone. Basically, they have it where she has her own apartment away from the family in the backyard. And that whole situation, it makes me wonder, and this is just, me thinking, I have nothing to confirm this, but it makes me wonder if this was some type of agreement that they came up with. Like if Jonathan and Anna talked to her and said, look, I know you're miserable. I know you don't like vlogging, but if you just stay quiet, if you pretend that it was all a misunderstanding about your dad, which if you recall, I think I put in the video, that after all that, there was a post, about how great Jonathan was, and it was just all a misunderstanding, basically. I'll see if I can find that. So that was posted. And look, I get that she's very young, kids say things, but a lot of what she was saying was really legitimate. It wasn't just, a teenager who hates her parents because, oh, they don't let me do anything. They're annoying, they're this, they're that. No, it was her saying that she doesn't like vlogging and her dad won't let it go, basically. So anyway, back to my point, I'm wondering if it was almost a bargaining chip. Basically, like, you stay quiet about it, put on a happy face for the camera, and we will let you have this entire pool house to yourself. I mean, when you're 13, your entire life has been online, a camera has been in your face since birth. You've already been outspoken about how you feel about vlogging. That offer might not be too bad. I don't know, but my point is that they mapped out their entire home for any future, potential, or current stalkers that they have. They said where they sleep, which shows where the windows are. They talked about how the oldest sleeps back there by themselves. I mean, who does that? Especially being that the oldest child, because of the way that Jonathan puts her out there online, gets so many disturbing, dark, disgusting comments made about her. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit too. Because some of the stuff that I found that took me all of 2 seconds, how any parents would be okay with this and that Jonathan knows this is a tactic that works, I beyond me. But yeah, back to the moving part. They said they moved because of a stalker and yet are changing nothing about their lifestyle, their job. Makes a lot of sense. Something too I'm noticing with this move is that all of a sudden Jonathan and Anna are seen together a lot more. And you're probably thinking, so what? They're married. Well, the reason I bring this up is because for the last couple years, there was a lot of speculation that they were separated but living under one roof for the sake of their image. Because we need to remember they have spent 2 decades building that image. And for basically 18 years of it, they were together all the time. You would see videos and clips and pictures of them almost every single day. And so going from that to nothing, people took notice. But since they moved to Spain, it's almost like they're going back to their old ways of filming. They're together a lot. They're strolling the beach, taking pictures, all the things. And you know what? If it was any other couple, I literally would not care. But I do find it odd that they went from people thinking they were divorced, Anna spending all her time with her friend Matt, who I know is just a friend, but it went from that to her leaving her best friend Matt and is now back to just having Jonathan. Nobody else to vent to or spend time with. The move, if anything, to me just seems really isolating. And it's hard to think that any of this is just a coincidence, being that the Saccone-Joly empire, if you will, has been unraveling for years. Like, is this Jonathan's basically last-ditch effort to kind of do everything that he can to bring back the family channel to its former glory, meaning they would get the brand deals again, they would get the views again. I don't know, but as of now, they do claim to be living in Spain for the foreseeable future. I'm still not fully convinced that's where they're going to settle down, but hey, for right now, it's a storyline they're going to run into the ground for their channel until the next storyline comes up. So I feel like something that they do a lot, and I say they because Anna's just as much to blame as Jonathan, but as they cycle through their kids for storylines. For quite a while, the main star, if you will, of the channel was E2 and the gender journey. Then it switched to their third child, A1, and her gymnastics. Every video was of her doing a split, and this went on for a while, but it sort of seems like more recently, Jonathan's ploy to get more engagement is to use E1, which is their oldest child. He uses her in thumbnails at very, I'm just gonna say, concerning angles. He also has her dressing in a way that, in my opinion, is a style for someone much older with heavier makeup as well. Now, whether or not he's the one pushing for her to dress that way for videos, I don't know. It could be that she's 13 and she wants to experiment with fashion and makeup, and that's all well and fine, but the issue is that Jonathan knows very well what brings in views. Jonathan knows that having her dressed and having her posed in the thumbnails is going to bring in views. It's going to bring in engagement. And most importantly to him, it's going to bring in money. He's also started to zoom in on her, and people started to notice and call him out for it. I'm going to read you this comment that I found. Someone said, maybe this is not intentional, but why does the camera keep zooming in on E1's, and there's a cherry emoji for chest? She is 13. She has no clue what's going on, which I actually disagree with there based off of the TikToks that she's put out. She knows very well what's going on and she does not like it. But this is not normal. I wonder why Anna is okay with this. Protect your girls. Well, Anna's okay with it because she's making money, and she's making a lot of money that she can go and live a very lavish lifestyle with designer clothes, bags. She gets Botox and fillers and just different things like that. So she's not about to give any of that up. But that comment has over 350 likes, at least, as of the time that I was writing this. Because there's a lot of people noticing the same thing. But with a lot of videos he poses of her, again, dressed in a way that he knows is going to bring in engagement, and the comments come in hundreds at a time on how she's dressed. And the thing is, a lot of the engagement is really disgusting, dark stuff, and we're going to get into that, but a lot of the engagement too is people who are concerned. And he's okay with that too, because engagement's engagement. So, for instance, on this video, someone says crop top, short shorts, and high heels hits very different with like the shocked face. This person says, why do I feel like something is very wrong within this family unit? This person said she looks like she's 25 going out to the club. This whole family is corrupt, a 13-year-old wearing heels. Why do parents not protect their child? And this comment right here has a good point. Stop judging her. I'm not judging her. And that's just it. We're not judging her. And Jonathan knows this. Um, he says, I think she looks amazing, but also you need to have boundaries, as in her dad doesn't do anything. Her dad does not have any boundaries with the outfits she's wearing because it gets views and comments on it. And I'm 13, and I think this is a little bit too much for her to be wearing. So again, this is a 13-year-old who's saying this. So, and again, this is the last comment we'll read, but this person says, I know this is her expressing her style, and in a perfect world, there would be nothing wrong with posting it online. But in the world that we live in, this content will be eaten up by a very specific audience that a 13-year-old should never be exposed to. So that's just it. There's comments coming in that are, we're going to get into it in a minute, they're dark. But a lot of the comments are people being like, what are you doing? You know that putting your kids out there like this is going to attract a certain audience, and you keep doing it anyway. So again, it's not judging the child, it's judging the parents for allowing this. For, again, it's one thing to let your kid, and we're going to get this to in a minute, dress however they want, to explore fashion and style and all of that. It's another thing to be like, hey, can you pose this way, and then make thumbnails a certain way, and to drive engagement, to drive views. It's disgusting. And speaking of disgusting, these comments took me under 2 minutes to find. They were on different videos. So one comment says, Jesus, she's got some big ... pigtails. This person says, I find that top that says, quote, juicy to describe her perfectly well. Someone said, she is well developed for her age. She's 13. This one said, my mouth is thirsting from seeing ... all that milk. I mean water. And those comments are up. Jonathan doesn't care. Anna doesn't care. They see that. They do not care. That there are grown men saying those type of things about their 13-year-old daughter. And again, that took me under 2 minutes to find. If I had more time to dedicate, I can only imagine what I would have found. But I think you get the picture, and quite frankly, again, if they were concerned about stalkers, 3 out of those 4 comments are from the same person on different videos. So the fact that they leave those comments up, continue to make more content to cater to those types of viewers is criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And what's ironic is that Jonathan just recently in one of Anna's videos stated that his videos on his channel are meant for children. They're scripted and meant for kids, not adults. Yet he is catering to you know what files. I don't know what the proper thing to say is without getting without getting the video, flagged or whatever. So I'm just from here on out gonna say you know what files. If you guys have the right word, let me know. But he is catering. She is catering. Jonathan and Anna are catering to you know what files. Take a look at Jonathan's channel. Every single video is the kid's mouths open. Every single video. All his photos and YouTube short thumbnails that he does of E1, he has her post in very specific ways that he knows what he's doing. And remember, he's the same person that told Stacey Dooley that he knows what type of content that you know what files, like such as gymnastics, and that he and Anna don't put their kids in vulnerable situations online because of it. And he also said in that same interview, when asked what he would think if he found out that a you know what file was doing things with and to the content of his kids that he was putting out there. And he said, quote, "I don't know. It's such an odd question. Is it a terrible thing? I don't I don't know how to really answer that because I don't make content like that on purpose, and I just try to make it as difficult as I can for my content to be consumed that way." That was his words, you guys. That was his words. I wrote it down, and I wish I could show you guys the clip, but I got dinged on that very first video, and that whole entire video actually got demonetized very early on. The video did well for me, but it got demonetized so early on that, that was kind of unfortunate. But I encourage you to go watch that video that I watched or that I did because I have that interview clip in there. He said that. And mind you, that interview is from years ago. I don't know exactly like what year it was. It might have been 2019. He's clearly changed his ways from then, being that he does all of that type of content tenfold. Again, I think it's just out of desperation to continue making money at all cost, at all and any cost. But not to mention now, what we didn't really have in 2019 is AI, which is only making it that much easier for you know what files to manipulate the content to exactly what they want. So make no mistake, Jonathan knows exactly what he's doing. He is very, very calculating and very, very manipulative. I'll give him that. But the thing is, Anna is no better. She approves all of this content. She comments under Jonathan's videos and has also herself used E1 in thumbnails. And I'm sorry, call me a prude, call me a Karen, but you should not we, the audience, should not see the entire side profile of a 13-year-old's breast. So why is Anna posting that in her thumbnail of her daughter? If you're okay with your kid experimenting with fashion the way that Jonathan and Anna are apparently okay with, that's a personal choice. But it's also a personal choice to use that as content, the way that Jonathan and Anna do. Something that I've noticed, especially with the one interview that Anna did this year, is that she loves to cry victim. And while, yes, Jonathan is the mastermind behind the channel, I do believe that. Like, basically, he's the one navigating the ship, if you will, but Anna's the one steering it. Again, she loves the perks that come along with exploiting her kids, and she isn't about to stop anytime soon. Clearly, I mean, she's been doing this since E1 was in the womb. And Jonathan is just sick in the head. He is absolutely twisted and sick. And he's only getting worse as the years go on because he's getting more desperate. He knows that his time on YouTube is coming to an end as far as using his kids go. His kids are all getting older. He has about 4 more years, probably, I would say, until things will have run its course with the channel. Because at that point, his eldest will be 18. I mean, he still has other kids, but by that point, they'll all be teenagers. And will they want to continue doing all this? I guess the better question is, will they have a choice? I look at other accounts that have older kids that are teenagers now, like these Norris nuts or this or these Norris nuts. I don't know. I know you guys want me to cover them and that will be coming. But with that channel, the kids are all teenagers now, still doing videos on the family channel. And I wonder if they actually want to or if they just don't have a choice. I just don't think that many teenagers would want to continue doing juvenile type of content on the same channel that has been exploiting them since they were little. I don't know. And as far as the Saccone-Jolys go, I kind of wonder, is Spain becoming the new safe hub for family vloggers? Because I know that the Ballingers moved their kids from California to there right around the time a lot of family vloggers were leaving to avoid child labor laws centering around influencers. They'll say, "Oh, it's, we wanted something new. Our kids to learn a new culture, or this or that." I just don't think that you rip their kids from their home country to go to a brand new country on a whim. I don't know. I just don't think you do that. I don't think that's normal, typical behavior. And when we're talking about YouTubers, we're talking about family vloggers specifically, it's reasonable to ask these questions. And the thing is, I think that's why we're seeing a lot of family vloggers leaving their home. It all comes back to greed. They'll talk about it on the channel and be like, "Oh, it's this really exciting, fun thing." But what they're not showing is that they're disrupting their children's lives. Why? All for the sake of content. I just don't think this can be healthy in the short term or long term for the kids on these channels. And I think we're going to start seeing the effects of all of this in the upcoming year as these kids start to turn 18 and they can finally speak freely about it. But what do you think? Do you think that they're actually going to be staying in Spain full time, or is this sort of just a gotcha moment for content? Is this to avoid some sort of law? I don't know. Let me know what you think. And as always, definitely let me know who or what you want me to cover next on the channel. I have a few ideas in mind, but I always like to see what you guys want to see. So let me know. Thank you very much for being here. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.